Hey, what's going on, everybody? Commander Crane here, and man, we are just popping out the videos right now. There are spoilers coming out everywhere. This is just right after the trailer that came out. Well, not the trailer and the presentation from Wizards of the Coast. So we've got all the new cards to talk about. My just quick analysis on if the card is good or not, how excited I am, that kind of thing, and also some spoilers for the story specifically, obviously in addition to the cards. So we're gonna hop right into it here. Two disclaimers actually. One, I will leave a link to the previous video that I made a little while ago. Some of the cards that we're talking about are only the transformed. It's the transformed battle. I already talked about the battle in the previous video, so if you want to check out the front side of the card, it's going to be at the end of the video, not in the description, but it'll be at the end for a pop-up, whatever. So, all right, we're hopping into it here. So we're starting off huge. Elesh Norn, 3/5 for 4 with Vigilance. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, that source's controller loses 2 life unless they pay 1. I mean, rip aggro decks, I guess, right? I mean, like, if you're an aggro deck and your opponent plays Elesh Norn and you can't get a board state going, you might just die to this. Realistically, like, I don't even know. This card I'm already not a huge fan. As someone who plays a lot of aggro, I am not looking forward to playing against this Elesh Norn. Not at all. But let's keep reading. Why not? 2 and a white. Sacrifice 3 other creatures. Exile Elesh Norn, then return it to the battlefield transformed. So let's check out the next card. The Argent Etchings. It's a saga. Incubate 2 5 times, then transform all incubator tokens. So off the bat, the first saga, we're getting 5 2/2s. Okay, cool. Second chapter, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain double strike. Okay, so we're making 5 2/2s. Then they're 3/3 double strikers. Let's keep reading. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Destroy all other permanents except for artifacts, lands, and Phyrexians. Exile the Argent Etchings, then return it to the battlefield. So it goes back to Elesh Norn. This card is so stupid. I was reading something like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I could just imagine a white-black mid-range deck that just plays Sheoldred and Elesh Norn and just a pile of other Magic cards. You could literally sleeve up a bunch of ham sandwiches and Raptor Companions. Doesn't even matter. Like, you'll just win. So, yeah, this card's busted. We're gonna go to the next one. Jeez. Okay, so now, a little happier now. Etali Primal Conqueror. For those who've watched the channel, I love dinosaurs. So let's talk about this one. 7/7 for 7 with Trample. When Etali Primal Conqueror enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So, very similar to the old Etali, except the old one just has when it attacks, each opponent exiles a top card, you can cast them. This one is like, no, I'm getting a spell. And I obviously don't have to cast it, but I'm getting a spell no matter what. So, obviously I'm a big fan of this right off the bat. Great commander card. It's probably not going to see any play in Standard or Pioneer, most likely, but I still like it. But let's keep reading, why not? 9 in green Phyrexian, which means we can pay 2 life for a green. Transform it as a sorcery. Sure. All right. Well, what's the worst it could be? Oh, it's an 11/11. Etali Primal Sickness. Trample and Indestructible. Okay, so we're not killing this. So, all right, what's going to happen to us? When it deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. Yep. So that's that card Mara was talking about, where it can deal 11 poison counters. Gross. This card is... it's not nuts, but in Commander, this card could like just single-handedly just like win the game, depending on your overall power level. Yeah, that's gross. Very cool card. I love the design. I also love the flavor text on the side, the contagion spreads, and the multiverse quakes. I really like that. So, very cool card. Let's go to the next one. Polukranos Reborn. Okay, so as of right now, it's probably going to change, but this so far is my favorite card in the set. 4/5 with reach for green, green, green. Green pips everywhere. 6 and a white. Transform Polukranos Reborn. Activate only as a sorcery. So, even on the front side of this, I'm a gigantic fan of this card. 3 green pips, very relevant for especially a lot of the decks that I like to play. I mean, at this point, we have a smorgasbord of 3 green mana spells. We can play Steel Leaf Champion, Old Growth Troll. We get, obviously, now we get Polukranos. I mean, that's not even in addition to all the other good green 3-drops we get. So you get your pick of the litter for the most part. 4/5 with Reach. That's very good early game Reach. It's awesome. Great card in general. But, you know, just for, you know, why not? Let's just check on the other side. Let's see what it does. Oh, it's a Polukranos Engine of Ruin. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Hydra. Reach and lifelink. Okay, that's pretty good. Why? We'll just keep reading just because why not? When Polukranos Engine of Ruin or another non-token Hydra you control dies, create a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra with Reach and a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra with lifelink. Giving off strong Wormcoil Engine vibes with the lifelink, and it is also cool. It's another non-token Hydra, so like it's worth noting. First green-white Hydra, legendary Hydra we've ever gotten. So for Commander, very cool. Card is still great. I think this has some potential in Pioneer, just with the stats alone, and then late game being able to be this. So yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of this card. Definitely going to be playing this a lot in Pioneer. Gonna have to find some good lists, but yeah, this card has a lot of potential in multiple formats. So I'll be playing it pretty much in every format it's legal in. So very cool card. Also, for those who don't watch, I just did a Polukranos history video the other day. It's kind of cool. You know, I was like alluding like, oh yeah, maybe we'll see Polukranos return to standard. And there we are. Polukranos is back. Next one, we have Glissa, Herald of Predation. 3/5 for 3 green black. Legendary Phyrexian Zombie Elf. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one. We can incubate 2 twice, which means we get 2 incubators with 2/1/1 counters. Then we tap 2 and transform it, and it makes a 0/0, so it's a 2/2. So we can incubate 2 twice, transform all incubator tokens you control, or Phyrexians you control gain first strike and death touch. So, yeah, makes bodies, and you know, artifact synergies, gives you artifact fodder, and you can also give your Phyrexians first strike and death touch. So if you're playing like a tribal Phyrexian, even in like limited, this is very good because there's a lot of Phyrexian card types in limited. I know in the last set, like black green, like Phyrexian, like Toxic was really good, which a lot of those, pretty much all of them were Phyrexians. So yeah, this card's very, very good. In Standard, I don't know how playable it is, but this seems like an extremely good card in Limited. Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree. 3 mana legendary artifact. 2 and tap. Target opponent mills 3 cards. Put a land card from their graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. It gains if this land will leave the battlefield, exile it instead. It's ramp that we take from our opponent. Interesting. 10 mana and tap. Sacrifice Realmbreaker. The Invasion Tree. Search your life for any number of Praetor cards and put them onto the battlefield. So, interesting card. Obviously, fall back to I feel terrible that I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's the green land where you tap double Wooburg and search for any number of gods. It's alluding back to that. The World Tree. There we go. I was trying to think if there was a name before it. But, so pretty cool. It's like a weird mana rock kind of thing, too. If you're playing Praetors and Commander, like, it's just 10 mana win the game, pretty much. Gross. So, yeah, pretty flavorful card. I'm a big fan of it. Not an all-star by any stretch, but it's a very unique card. I like it. Then we got a couple of good commons here. So, Traumatic Revelation matters for the story. Black and 1 sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a creature or battle card from it. If you do, that player discards that card. If you don't, incubate 3. So this is really interesting. This is the first like hand attack spell, to my knowledge, where you reveal some, you Thoughtseize them, You know what? You can keep it. I'll just make I'll make a 3/3 for later. Very interesting card. It seems pretty solid, like standard playable most likely. It's interesting. It's also the first card, obviously, that takes specifically battles. So, cool card. I like it in general. And then we have Alabaster Host Sanctifier. It's just a 2/2 for 2 with lifelinker. Just, it's a card from Theros. It's, it's from the Plane of Theros, obviously, not from the Theros set. But they just showed it in there, and I figured I'd throw it in there just for limited purposes. Then we have Marchesa, Resolute Monarch. This is from the black battle card that transforms. So this is what transforms into a 3/6 with Menace and Death Touch. I feel like Wizards has been loving their Death Touch recently. Whenever Marchesa Resolute Monarch attacks, remove all counters for up to 1 target permanent. Yeah, people in Oathbreaker are going to love that. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you haven't been dealt combat damage since your last turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. I feel like this seems like the kind of card in Limited that would kind of just take over the game. Like, and it's a 3/6, so it's like, all right, you're not attacking me, cool, I'm just going to get card draw off it. I think this card's pretty cool in general. I'm a fan of it. It's very cool to see Marchesa back as well. Then we have Zalortha, Apex of Ikoria. Couple things I want to talk about this card, even before we talk about the actual card. So, one, this is the flip side of Invasion of Ikoria, the one where it's like, 5, 2 mana, look at the top 5, put a permanent in play. So this is the transform of that. The second thing is this is Zalortha's first card in a way. So Zalortha's first card was the buy a box promo Godzilla King of the Monsters for Ikoria. But it had Zalortha Strength Incarnate, but then the big name was Godzilla King of the Monsters. So it didn't really have its own unique card, but now we actually do. It's Zalortha, Apex of Ikoria. So it's an 8/8 legendary dinosaur with reach. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So, if you have your 8/8 with reach, I'm going to block with my 1/1. Cool, I'm going to deal 8 to the opponent. So it's like, not really, it's not unblockable, but it's like I'm ignoring your blocking essentially. So it like has pseudo trample pretty much. It's a very cool card. Obviously, I love dinosaurs. Everybody knows that, and I feel like, especially in like a green, I just dropped my phone, but in a green stompy list, I kind of like this just because, you can like tutor for a creature with the front side, even if you just grab like a Llanowar for, you grab a good 2-drop, a Polukranos for 3, and then you transform it, you get this giant 8/8 that's just going to have you win the game. I'm a big fan of it. We'll see where this card goes, but it's definitely on my radar. Then we have Stoke the Flames. So I couldn't tell you why, but when this is the card I lost my mind over in the trailer. So it was for those who don't know, this is a reprint from M15. It was a very, very good card in Standard. It's a great throwback card. I don't know why. I was so excited. I didn't even play Standard at that time, but I was just going nuts. So it's 2 red instant with Convoke, which means we can tap our creatures and it reduces 1 or that creature's color. So it's kind of like, it turns them into Llanowar Elves in a way. And then deals 4 damage to any target. Again, card was very, very, very good in Standard. Enough said. This card's just very good. Very cool to see it come back too. Also, I like how it alludes to Atarka in the flavor text. So I'm very excited this is going to come back. If red decks are good in Standard, they're going to be playing Stoke the Flames. Stoke the Flames might even make red decks good. Like, that's just how good that this card is. So, all right. Next one, we have Borborygmos and Fibblethip. So 6/5 for 2 green, blue, red. Legendary Cyclops Homunculus. When Borborygmos and Fibblethip enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card, then you may discard any number of land cards. When you discard 1 or more cards this way, Borborygmos and Fibblethip deals twice that damage to target creature. So, Borborygmos is like loves discarding lands and dealing damage, and Fibblethip, I think the last card had like a draw discard theme to it. So yeah, no, it's pretty flavorful. 1 in a blue, put Borborygmos and Fibblethip into its owner's library 3rd from the top. Just a great way to protect it. Also, it's an ETB also with the draw and discard. So yeah, no, in general, you can protect itself. This card seems solid for limited if you can cast it. I don't know how easy. I mean, I know there's like all the tap gain life lands, but you know, if you can cast as limited, seems pretty good. 6/5 for 5, you know, good stats. Quintorius Loremaster, 3/5 for 3 red white, legendary elephant cleric with vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, exile target non-creature non-land card from your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit, tap 1 red white and tap, sacrifice a spirit, choose target card exiled with Quintorius. You may cast that card this turn without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put in a graveyard, put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead. So, seems like a pretty cool card. Probably not something, obviously, in Standard you're going to take advantage of, but, you know, there's going to be some really, really silly commander decks that you can build with this thing. Yeah, just seems like a really good, flavorful card from Strixhaven. Yeah, I like it overall. Then we have Sword of Once in Future. I believe this is the last sword, if I'm not mistaken. So, 3 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from blue and black. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, surveil 2. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put in the graveyard, you exile it and is equipped 2. So, overall, I'm a big fan of it. How good this is in terms of power ranking for the swords, I really couldn't tell you. But, I mean, surveil 2 and you can cast something easy back from your graveyard? Sign me up. Think the card's good. We have Teferi, Echosa of Zhalfir. So this is from the Invasion of New Phyrexia flip, the one that like makes all the soldiers or whatever, or the knights, sorry. So, 4 loyalty, +1, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. Interesting with a Teferi. -2, you get an emblem with knights you control, get +1/+0, and have ward 1. Again, shout out to Wasteland Owl. You might as well pick up Battle of New Phyrexia now. Pre-order them. You're gonna want them. -3, tap X creatures you control. When you do, shuffle target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value X or less into its owner's library. So, Teferi is going aggro. This is an aggro card. This isn't really a control card so much. What's also really cool is most knights have vigilance, so you can like attack with all your knights. Then you can -3 and tuck something if you need. So yeah, no, I think this card's pretty cool. Again, I think a lot of it comes down to how easy will it be to transform it. But even then, the front card by itself is just still really good. You know, make X 2/2s. Like, I think this card's gonna be pretty good. We have Seal from Existence, white 1 enchantment with Ward 3. So whenever it's targeted by a spell or ability opponent controls, they have to pay 3 mana or it's countered. When Seal of Existence enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Seal from Existence leaves the battlefield. So, right off the bat, this is probably the best Oblivion Ring effect, like actual enchantment we probably ever had besides Leyline. Forgetting the name of it all of a sudden. The white one with Domain. But that's good because it's 1 mana, but this is good because it is Ward 3. So, you know, as opposed to just getting like the quick like Ed Step, Disenchant, or quick removal, like more than likely you're gonna have to devote an entire turn to get your permanent back. So I'm a big fan of Seal from Existence. I think this card is extremely good. Yeah, probably the best Oblivion Ring effect we've ever had. You know, maybe even better than Detention Sphere, but this is still white too, so that opens up all the possibilities of what decks could play this. So yeah, I'd expect this card to be a big player in Standard going forward, and even Pioneer. Pioneer has a shot at this card too. Transcendent Message, blue X, instant with Convoke. So like Convoke is back. Convoke is officially back, which is very cool. And draw X cards. It's a big blue draw spell, you know, goes right in with Stroke of Genius and Blue Sun's Zenith and Pull from Tomorrow and all that. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, very flavorful too. I'm not going to talk about the story right now, but, you know, there's a reason it's a story spotlight card, so very cool in general. Then we have Negate and Elspeth Smite. I threw them together, just quick uncommons, both also story spotlight cards. So Negate, you know, blue and 1, counter target non-creature spell, but I just want to go over the flavor text with it. So Teferi gave them time, Karn gave them a chance, but it was Malira who paid the ultimate price to free Ajani from Phyrexia's Grasp. So, very cool. Ajani is back again. Good to see. I like Ajani as a character. It's nice to see him not go to the dark side. Just good. And then Elspeth's Smite. 1 white instant. Beautiful artwork. Elspeth's Smite deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Elishnorn screamed as the light pierced her. Her nightmare had become flesh. So, a lot of things to talk about with this kind of card. So, they've made a lot of cards like this over the last couple years, like Gideon's Reproach was like a classic one. And it's very interesting because these type of effects generally don't see a ton of play for the most part. Like, even like in Standard they see some play, but past that they really don't see a lot of play. So, but this one is extremely good. Like, in some matchups, this is like almost a lightning bolt aimed at exiles. You know, like even in Modern, like this takes care of those pesky Ragavans are gone, takes care of Darcy's. Like, I'm not sure where this card's really gonna go, but if a card like this that deals damage to attacking or blocking creatures, like conditional white removal, this is the one. Like, I think this card's good. Only time will tell, but I'm pretty high on this card in general. So, I like it in sideboards, especially like if white mid-range decks like bring it in against aggro, like you're just bolting all their creatures. So yes, very big fan of this card, and we'll see where it takes us. And our last card here is a story card. It's not a gigantic like wall breaking card. Mirrodin Avenge, 1 black. Instant, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. Beautiful artwork. Karn's got Elishnorn's head. You were my mistake. I will forever bear the weight of your horrors and of your end. So, very cool card. Probably pretty good in Limited. I haven't assumed that. But that is all the spoilers we have to talk about today. So these are all the ones that are from the presentation that Wizards of the Coast showed us. I am extremely excited about this set. Just like a lot of the artwork they showed off some cool dinosaur artwork that wasn't we haven't seen a card yet. So hoping that, we get some really, really cool dragons and dinosaurs. That kind of thing would be just awesome. Hope we get some good knights. Knights, I feel like we only get like every other year. We'll get some good, knight cards. Seems like this set's going to have some, especially with Teferi and things of that nature. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. So that reaches the end of the video. Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite card was that we looked at today. Is there a specific deck you're going to put it in? Commander, Oathbreaker, Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Mormir, Vig? Just let me know in the comment section below. I'm Commander Crane. Catch you next episode.